Hi there, welcome to the archives. So this is going to be the final video I do on why does he do that inside the minds of angry and controlling men. I wanted to end, now we're getting into the final chapter. Basically, we're moving into chapter 15. I'm still on chapter 14, but I'm going to move to chapter 14 and 15. And this one we're going to look at recovering from abusive men, right? So how do you know if he's really changing? So basically, he says no one is better positioned to know than an abused woman herself. She's the only one who can actually know, or abused children. We're the only ones who can really know for sure if the man has changed, right? Not his therapist, not his social worker, because he can manipulate those people. And he says he's had cases where a man in his program was doing amazing work, right? Like model, star, doing so good. Um, and then he would talk to her partner, and she was like, he has not changed. He's escalated. There are some people who are gold stars through and through. They look like they've changed, but they only did that so they can make a court hearing date, or they can get back in the house, or they get back access to her. And as soon as he's got access to her, he's back on his bullshit, right? So he asks, he cannot change unless he deeply changes and deals with his entitlement and superiority complex. It's a supremacy thing, right? It's patriarchy. It's male supremacy. And so unless he deals with that and the entitlement, he's never going to change. It makes no difference how nice he's being to you. Don't use him being nice to you as an indicator that he's changed, right? Because they're superficial changes, and they may lead to real hope. So instead, he says to ask some of these questions, right? Has he learned to treat your opinion with respect, even when they differ from him? Is he accepting your rights to express anger to him? Can you express anger to him? Can you read this book with him, right? Is he respecting your right to freedom and independence? Can you have autonomy with him? Do you have agency with him? This is what's going to tell you whether he's actually changed or not. Has he stopped making excuses for his treatment, including using your behavior as an excuse for his? Is he respectful during sex? Is he still applying pressure? Is he engaging in guilt trips? Has he stopped cheating or flirting with other women? Does he listen to your side of the argument without interrupting? Or is he always interrupting and trying to make his way? Um, are you free to raise any grievances? Can you be like, hey, babe, this is not right? Are you able to talk about those things? Do you still feel like you have to hold it in? Does he snap at you if you bring up something bad that he did? Has he stopped talking about his abuse as if it was an accident? Has he actually begun to acknowledge that he was trying to control you? Is he actually responding with grievances by doing something about it? Is he taking action? Right? Has he eliminated abusive, controlling behaviors? Does he still slip back into controlling behaviors? Has he been consistent and responsible, including for the kids? Is he still acting entitled? Does he demand selfishness? Is he still self-centered? Is he fair with money, and is he being responsible with the money? Or is he still weaponizing money against you? Has he stopped any behavior that you find threatening or intimidating? Has he significantly expanded his contribution to the household and child rearing, right? And even if he doesn't want to do it himself, maybe has he hired a cleaner or hired a childcare or a chef or a cook, right? Has he found some way to equally distribute that? Because a lot of people eat out, or somebody else is in the house cooking for them, so they don't cook, and they probably will never cook. But are you open to hiring then? Then do you want to cough up the money to get a chef or a cook to cook for you? Or is that supposed to be just my job because I have? Has he begun supporting your strengths, right? Will he let you go back to school? Are you able to take a job if you wanted to? Can you go out with your friends? Can you have some independence? Or does he make you feel small? So these are some of the questions he basically says to ask. And he says if there's no to any of these, he's not changed. If you answered no to any of these, girl, be cautious, right? I'm not saying don't go back, but like probably chances are he hasn't changed. And so there's some people who look like they've changed, but all they're really doing is avoiding disconnecting from the relationship. So that she'll be like, oh, well, he's changed. But actually, he hasn't changed. It's just he doesn't hang out the house anymore. He's not, ain't talking to you. He's ignoring you. As a partner of one of my clients said, it's like he's got two gears, angry and neutral. Is he numb now? It goes into signs that he hasn't changed at all. I'm going to leave that. You can read that in the book. And we've already talked about it. Basically, if you're recovering from abuse, be honest with yourself, right? Use good judgment and make wise decisions about prospective future partners. Just be honest with yourself. Um, Going to couples therapy is probably not going to work. Go to therapy yourself if you need to. Reach out to community, have friends, right? Don't isolate yourself, like I said earlier in the book. Don't isolate. That was probably one of the worst decisions I made. But again, that's what I felt like I needed to do. Mostly also because I realized that like if you can't even tell me if I felt like I didn't even have one Christian. Well, that's not true. People tried. Anyways, people did try. I was also really stubborn, right? So again, this is where you have to be honest with yourself. Yeah, my friends did try to tell me these red flags. They did try to check for me. I did push them away. I wasn't responsive. I did block people. I cut people off, right? Yep, I isolated myself. Like you have to be accountable. You have to be honest, right? We can't keep blaming people because that becomes abusive cycle. Blame, blame, blame. Everything is everybody else's fault. You're always a victim. At some point, we have to sit down and be accountable. Like I could have done better. I need to work on my communication skills. I don't know conflict resolution. I'm a grown ass 40-year-old and I can still engage in conflict properly. I'm conflict avoidant. Yikes, I'm conflict avoidant. Okay. I'm emotionally unavailable. Like we got to be brutally honest with ourselves, right? Um, know that you can't make him change for you. You can't make anybody change. It sucks, but love is not enough, right? They have to do it for themselves. Abuse is not caused by bad relationship dynamics. Until your partner has been completely abuse free for 2 years, it's likely that he hasn't changed. That's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people. Now I gotta wait 2 years before I accept you back. Well, or you can stay in an abusive relationship for those 2 years and still be getting abused. But either way, 2 years is gonna pass. That's how I look at it. Whether you like it or not, 2 years is, God willing, you're gonna have another 2 years at least on this earth. So at least you wait and live in a healthy way and just let him continue doing his process. Or you engage with him and you give him access and now you're still repeating it. I'm at that point now where I would rather just cut you off. Let me live my life. You live your life. On you in another 2 years. If you've changed in another 2 years, maybe we can do this again. Right? And this is for family, this is for friends, but like, if they haven't changed, they haven't changed. That means the dynamic is still going to be the same. And that dynamic never favored me. The power was always with you. Unless we can balance his power out, I don't want it. Why would I get the shitty end of the stick? And that we used to do that because we didn't have respect for ourselves. I didn't have respect for myself. I abandoned myself. You have to be honest. It's a brutal process. You have to really forgive yourself first. Because, like, honestly, you're like, I abandoned myself. I abandoned other people. I was just tunnel vision on a man, on a ring, on a marriage, on a pick me behavior. Dangerous pick me behavior. Throwing other women under the bus. Fighting with other women. For what? A man that doesn't even know how to spell love? Know how to respect or treat a woman as an equal? It's sad, man. Like when you sit down and think about it, you're just like, I let a lot of stupid shit go. I played in my own fucking face. I really I betrayed myself. And for what? The potential of the future fate. The potential of maybe one day being happy again. Of having a ring on my finger. Of society knowing that somebody finds me desirable. He's probably still out cheating. Because now I got a kid. This is how society gets us. Now I'm supposed to put up with all that bullshit because Genesis, the Bible said. I call bullshit. I'm throwing holy water at you because you're not gonna get me. I'm going to talk about animism in one of my next videos. I'm gonna go back to after this. I haven't posted the Islam and the hijabi women's in sports yet, so I'm gonna post those after the series. Then I'm gonna get back to the 36 warriors and intellectuals, and I'm gonna get back to Nzinga and all of that. But I thought it was important to share this series. I thought it was really important to like slowly go through it because I know a lot of us have been in abusive relationships, are in abusive relationships, are hooked on abusive relationships. We love abusive men and we don't know what to do with it, or we're being guilted back to dynamics with abusive men or women. Some of us have found ourselves to be abusive ourselves and we're trying to look for resources on how to change that. Some of us are recovering from abuse. So I don't know. I thought it was really important to go through this. Again, I don't know too much about the author. Sometimes people are problematic. I hate full transparency. I don't really know too much about Lundy Bancroft other than somebody on Instagram has been through a abusive relationship and shared this document. I'm glad people are reading and learning about these dynamics because they're really, really toxic. They really, and like, especially right now with so much coming at us, like, you really need your health to be max. You can't afford to be in situations that are draining you of your life force. You cannot afford it. Literally, you cannot afford it, especially right now in the United States. They're like gutting healthcare. You cannot afford to have an ailing or bad health. And a lot of us, especially post pandemic, right? I just found out that I might have a heart condition that's in my genetics. I can literally cannot afford to be around somebody who continuously, repeatedly breaks my heart. It's actually not good for my heart, right? It's not good for our immune systems, our gut health, our mental health, our physical health. I've been ever since all of these kind of toxic now I've never known chronic pain like since the incels, men who were like good folks back in the days turned terrible. A couple years ago I talked to this guy named man from the past, and he was like, yeah, I got caught up in it. I have to admit, I was an incel. And I was like, yeah, exactly. That's why I cut all of you guys off. Because there was a time where they weren't this bad. There was a time where they were not like that. I've dated talked to some, I use dated, but like, I talked to some decent men. Never put a hand on me. Never. There's one man that ever put a hand on me as a joke. And I was like, It was a white man. This white boy. Who do you think I said, do not touch me. I've had friends who've never put their hand on me, who never disrespected me, never called me out of my name. I had homies who'd be like, yo, I'm just calling to check up on you because I want to heal you up. Yeah, you better heal me up. Right? So like I don't know what happened in the last decade. But the machine worked on a lot of these men, including men in my family I loved. Cut all of them off. Cut all of them off. Because you think I'm a small girl like me. Sa. Oh, you can't even respect me? Me small girl like me. Nti wo nua ba na wo ye ne sa. Oh, baba na wo ye ne sa. Ko, enfa me ho ko. Me hia ho. Wo je na wo ye ma me. Mo nya hwe ma me nti ko. Now headache because of what? You don't buy me shit, you don't do nothing, you don't have no purpose in my life. And they talk about this with the father section. And the people don't do nothing for you, but they want to come in your life and control you. Stay far away from me. Right? So this is part of the healing process. You have to be really brutally honest with yourself about your role and about the foolishness that you took on and how much you were willing to like disrespect yourself just to please other people. People pleaser. People pleaser. Oh, and I'm an empath. I feel. Girl, you were toxic as well too, right? So all of this. Um, and you need people in your corner. Like I said, I wish I had more Chriselles in my life to be like, Dee, sis, this is not it. Everybody's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You're not being surveillance. People really think you're some small girl and they really will walk all over you because you taught them to. You taught them I'm not going to say shit when you treat me bad. So then they treat you bad. And then when you cost them the oh my God, Dorothy, you are just so rude. You're so evil. You're so demonic. So basically, that's it, right? You have to, he needs his friends and his family to recognize what he's doing is abuse. They have to call it out for what it is. He needs people in his life to be like, you crossed the line. You are fucking up. You're repeatedly fucking up. Stop fucking up. Otherwise, we are going to walk away from you. Um, Usually it's better if he was already on lower end of the self-centeredness, right? A man who already has a little bit more empathy, like this man I was talking about. I could see why he's found his way out because he was willing to even admit that he was an incel. A lot of these men won't admit that they're incels. I could see why you found your way out. This is why you and I at one point were friends, right? Because there's something in you. There is a humanity in you. You might have lost it, but you found your humanity. They have to find their humanity, right? They have to find that empathy. Now there's an attack on empathy. Now they're using the Bible to be like, empathy is a bad thing. Please find some empathy. Please find some compassion. Please find some humanity within you. Please have a conscience. Please have some fucking integrity. Sorry to swear so much, but recognize when it's theatrical, right? When they're doing it just to like get back in your good books. Um, yeah, they just need good people around them. But the world can be abuse free. This goes on and says abuse is a solvable problem. We don't need to be living in a world where there's abuse. Contrary to people being like, oh, that's just how it is, and there's just hierarchy, and we need somebody to be always shitting on. You don't need that. You don't need that. Some of our cultures lived. I think it was Jujube. I saw a video recently on Jujube that was like Christians are under attack, and Jew was talking about basically like our ancestors didn't believe in heaven or hell. They didn't believe in heaven or hell. They believed in doing right by people here, right in here, in the now. And if they fucked up, there was ways and process to make that right. Now Christians and all of these religions make you think that there's an afterlife and God is going to punish you when you die. But all that does is keeps us in bad behavior, and then we'll deal with it later. Our ancestors didn't do that. You cross the line right here, you gotta make up for it right here in the now. Your heaven is right here, your hell is right here on earth, right? So I think that was something somebody reminded me that recently. I saw another video yesterday that was like when the colonizers, when the Europeans came to Africa, they used to make fun of us as Africans because we were too nice, we were too generous. We were fighting them back like we needed to. I have to go back to Nzinga's book in Angola. It took 8 years before the Catholics took over. North America, same thing here. We're like, oh, we can work in relationships with you because that's how we were already operating, right? The warriors and queens is making me use paganism, but it actually, somebody remind me, it's animism. It's not paganism, it's animism, which means we see Christ and Creator in basically everything, including the wind, the trees, the plants, the animals, each other. So once you see God in somebody, once you see that woman you're abusing, what's that song? What if God was one of us? Amanda Marshall? Is that Amanda Marshall? What if God? What if God? What if God is the one you're beating up on right now? Bring back animism, please. They'll say it's paganism, it's demonic, it's witchcraft. People were conducting themselves way better back then than they are with Christianity, because they use Christianity and oh heaven and hell and later, later, later. It's not later. You need to repent right now. Repent right now. People don't do that. They want to slap you, beat the shit out of you, to stalk you, mistreat you, kill you, and be like, well, I'll just deal with hell later. A lot of our ancestors, I was being reminded, that's not how it was. You have to do that right here, right now. Fix it. Fix it. Now we're like, well, let Jesus take the wheel. Right? And so this is where I think we need to bring back some of the old ways. We need to bring back some of the old ways because people don't know how to conduct themselves. Everybody's sitting in church on Sunday morning. Everybody goes to church. Everybody's in mosque and temple. We're all lighting incense. But our behavior is bad, bad, bad. Women are treating each other bad. Men are treating each other bad. White on white crime is bad. Black on black crime is bad, bad, bad. We're badass. These kids are bad. Well, let's just go to hell. No, you're living in hell right here, right now. We have to fix up our behavior. We can't be treating each other like that. So that's all. I mean, I think it's just done at this point. It says what if you're somebody who's has a friend or a sister or somebody who's abused, be patient with them. Be patient with them. This is where Chriselle needs to read this, because Chriselle was taking some approaches with Emma that's not going to work. It's going to backfire. I need Chriselle to read this and actually go back to the last chapter. How can I help my daughter, sister, or friend who's being abused? Be patient. Remember what it was like for you to be stuck in a cycle. Remember what it's like for you when you were in an abusive relationship. Did it help when somebody was judging you? Did it help when somebody was judging? Did it help when somebody gave you an ultimatum? No, it made you want to go back to that man. So don't do that to your girls. Address her as an equal. Stop looking at her being condescending. Right? This is where Chriselle did not help. This is where the Chriselles and them, we actually push people back to their abusers. Because they're like, I can't even talk to my friend without being judged. That's what he's already doing. He's already degrading her. But he's also fucking her. You're not fucking her. So if I have to choose between you and him, you guys are both looking the same right now. You guys are both doing me dirty. You guys are both making me feel like shit. Well, sorry sis, he lays a D nice. He got me digmatized. I'm gonna choose him. That's usually what happens, right? We look at our friends as haters. Oh, they're jealous. She's single. Oh, well, Chelsea's a single mother now. She just got divorced. She must not know. She must not want the best for me. No, she does. You just can't see it that way. And she's not coming with the right approach. So yeah, Chelsea does look like a hater. Chriselle does look like a hater. Well, if you're looking like a hater and he's looking like a hater, I'm gonna go choose him because he's got money. He's supporting my life. And he's laying the D down. So I'm gonna choose my friend. I'm gonna choose my man over my friend. Right? That's usually what happens. So it says, treat her as an expert in her own life. Believe her. Listen to her needs. Listen more. Talk less. Respect her right to self-determination. She wants to go back to him. Leave her be. Right? Leave her be. Don't take that as a sign that she's slipping back. Maybe she needs to go back this one final time just for him to show her that he really hasn't changed. Let them trust their own intuitions, right? One of the biggest mistakes made by people who wish to help and abuse women is to measure her success by whether she leaves or not. If the woman feels unable or unready to end a relationship, or if she does not separate for a period, but then goes back, people will think that like she's failed. Don't do that, is what it says, right? A better measure of success for the people helping is how well have you respected the woman's right to her own life. That's what the man doesn't let her do. Let her have her own life. If Emma wants to live and make a mistake for herself, let her be there for her, but you have to trust her to live her own life. And when she falls, you're there to pick her up. Perhaps you've had a so remember when it was you. Perhaps you've had a difficult time finding a job. Maybe you struggled to lose some weight. Maybe you had a hard time quitting smoking. But just remember that time when you were stuck in a cycle that you couldn't get out of, right? Have some empathy. Don't think you're above her because you got out of an abusive. You probably are in another abusive relationship. You have no clue. You can have no moral authority over her. So that's basically what it's saying, right? Other people's problems always appear more simpler than ours. When someone you care about is accused of abuse, don't tell yourself that it's not true, right? Listen, talk to him, talk to her as well too. Make sure that you keep everything in confidence. Ask for permission to share. Don't pretend to look the other way. Follow up with them. Show up. It says for the woman who's going through it, make sure you're there. Show up to court. Hold them accountable. If he's talking to a probation officer, be there. If he's signing a plea bargain, it says a woman, you should be there so you know exactly what the plea bargain is. Make sure you're in the room. As much as it might be re-traumatizing, they said if you're a woman who's being abused, try to be there as much for the legal process, right? Because then you get to speak up for yourself and nobody can twist your words against you. Find community. And don't forget about the children, right? The children are just as affected. Look for resources. It shares resources at the end of this. It goes through with a bunch of books that you can read. Get help. Do your self-care. Make sure you're pouring into yourself. Make sure you find a good village and good community. But basically, yeah, that's a wrap. So like, look, it goes through the different resources at the end that you can check out. So check out the resources at the back. It's for all backgrounds. It breaks it down into teenagers and their parents. It has resources for women of color, right? Latina women, Black women. It goes through resources for lesbians. It has resources for immigrant and refugee women, resources for children, resources on custody, divorce, and child support, mothers of sexually abused children, general parenting issues, for those who are involved with law enforcement officers, for those in faith religious communities, right? For Christians and other sorts. It has stuff for abusive men, those who are looking to assist abused women, all of these. There's so many different resources in the back. And then male allies, right? It ends with men that are doing it. So men overcoming violence, men can stop rape, um, MCSR. What's MCSR? Oh, men can stop rape. And what's FBPV? Coaching boys into men, men's initiative for Jane Doe. So that's a wrap on why does he do that inside the minds of angry and controlling men. Again, I apologize for swearing this one. I got a little bit passionate, but it's the end, right? So yeah, this is how to recover from abusive men. Oh, 1 second. I had a list of questions for you actually before I go. 1 second. Sorry, I wrote a list of things to just as I wrap up. I just wanted to say these dynamics are actually it says oh these dynamics actually say a lot about the men. It says a lot about what men think about themselves. Imagine thinking so low of yourself as a grown ass man that you're first of all you're afraid of women in your own age category. You're so intimidated by women in your age category. You're so disgusted by women in your age category. You feel like you can't hold conversations with them. You feel like they can't challenge you. You feel so small. You feel so unsafe in the world that it's easier for you to date a 20 something year old. That says a lot about these men. They're struggling. They're struggling. They're having a really hard time. You can't have a conflict. All of us. And I said that. I had to learn conflict resolution skills. I don't know conflict resolution skills. Rather than men saying, I don't have conflict resolution skills, they say, I'm going to get myself a 20-year-old because then she doesn't talk back. Rather than being like, I'm a grown ass man. I don't know how to regulate my emotions. They say, oh, well, just let me put a gun to your head so you could do what I want. They're struggling. All of us are struggling. But like a lot of these men, because of the way they're raised, are taught that they can't, it's a weakness. But that weakness is costing all of us. So it just, I don't know, it says a lot about what men think about themselves, right? You think the only way you can get a woman is to manipulate her, is to love bomb her? You don't think that you're lovable? Why don't you think you're lovable? Who told you that you're not lovable? Why do you have to make somebody jump through mental hoops and do all these gymnastics just to love you? Why do you punish women for loving you? She's online bragging about you and your mind said, let me go act up. Why did you self-sabotage? And that's coming from somebody who chronically self-sabotages. I had to sit down. Why am I always self-sabotaging my own shit? Men need to do that. Why are you self-sabotaging yourself? You can't get loved on? Why do you think you're so unlovable? It says how much they feel so unsafe in feeling, right? How small they are, how insecure, how terrified they are of love, how afraid they are to let their guard down. And again, myself included. But again, I have to challenge myself to do that. I have to say, girl, this is not working for you. You don't have nobody around you because you won't let no one in. I need more men to sit down and ask themselves that. Because that's what traumatized people do. And a lot of these men are traumatized. But rather than sit with their trauma, they just project it on other people. Um, Again, stay away, but that's why I stay away from romantic. Yeah, I haven't dated in over a decade. Because I know better than to go get into a relationship and ruin somebody else. Hurt people hurt people. You guys keep saying hurt people hurt. So stop hurting people. Just stop engaging. Stop dating. How about that? They don't know how to stop dating. They always need. They're parasites. You need women. You need to use them. Stop using. Just take a break for 1 year. Stop dating for 1 year. Stop having sex for 1 year. Tap in. Go inward. Heal yourself. Instead of complaining about the loneliness crisis, be lonely. Take that time to really sit with yourself. What the hell have I created? What kind of mess is this? What kind of a world and situation have I created for myself? My daughter doesn't even want to talk to me no more. My wife is leaving me. What have I created? What have I done? Sit down and just take that time to focus. They won't do that. Now you're getting too soft. Well, that's why you're lonely. Take a time out. Go sit in the corner. Put a dunce cap on. Put a dunce cap on and go sit in the corner and self-reflect. Do some meditations. Pray to God. Find God. Seek somebody. Get a mentor. Go to a retreat. Again, remember, some of these men still use it, right? So stop blaming people. Stop blaming feminists. Please stop blaming feminists. This is not feminism's fault. That feminist in your family, it's not her fault that she's calling out the men that are doing all this nasty stuff. It's the men who did these things. If there's nothing to point at, there's nothing to point at. Imagine a different world. Please be more creative. Please be more creative. Do some world building. Write a story with the best possible situation. See yourself loving women. What would it look like for you to actually love a woman? What would it look like for you to, what would it look like for an incel to be like, oh, she did it to herself, or they didn't do it? And what would it look like for you to call that out? What would it look like for you to believe a woman? What would it look like for you to not be a victim? What would it look like if you actually were the bad guy? Dream of a different world. Get more creative. See yourself as a villain. Deal with the self of you that was a victim. That's part of my thing. I don't feel bad sometimes for being a victim because nobody allowed me to be a victim. I think men would be honest, they would say that. I was not allowed to be a victim. Now I want to be a victim to everyone. Okay, and then what? So then give your time to be the victim. But do it in a way where it's not negating somebody else's experience of you. Um, Leave the kids out of this. Please leave the children out of this. Leave them out of this. Stop abusing them. Stop touching them. Stop beating on them. Stop trying to control. Leave the kids out of this. Please. Stop having kids if you're not ready to have kids. Stop having kids with women just sowing your seeds everywhere just because it makes you feel like a man. Stop it. These are human beings. You're bringing human beings into this world. See how I never had kids all now? That's a responsible thing. You might call it selfish because you just sowed your seeds. It's even more selfish to have a kid and leave them. It's even more selfish to have a kid and abuse them. It's even more selfish to have a kid and not know what to do with them, to not be able to afford it. Call me selfish all you want. But I know that I'm making a responsible decision. Unless I could do better than my parents, I don't want that. I don't want that. And I can't trust I could do better than my parents right now. I still don't have all the resources. I'm close. I'm close. So maybe I'll consider having a kid. But consider having children. Don't just have kids because society said you need to. The fuck is that? Have your own mind. Be a free thinker. A lot of these deal with your daddy issues. A lot of these men have daddy issues. A lot of these men have mommy issues. Even worse mommy issues. They hate their moms, but they love their moms. Their moms control them. They make them feel like small little boys, but like their mom enables them, so they keep the mom around. Daddy might leave them a nice fortune. Daddy lets them get away with everything. Oh, now I'm looking a little bit like daddy because I'm abusing people too. So let me get away. Let me just let my father slide. Deal with your mommy and daddy issues. Because when it comes to us, you laugh at me. I have mommy issues now, right? Yeah, you're right. Thank you for calling me on it. That's community care. I'm gonna deal with my mommy issues. I'm dealing with my mommy issues. I'm dealing with my daddy issues. Are you? Can you even deny? Can you even admit that you have daddy issues, or are you denying it? Because the more you deny it, the more you have daddy issues, the more you have mommy issues. Deal with that, please. If you're single and you look through this list of stuff, can you see yourself? Oh yeah, I've been a water torturer. Oh damn, I was a drill sergeant. Ooh, 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 I was giving Rambo. Can you be honest with yourself about the types of abusers that you have been? If you're a woman or anybody, can you bring this to your partner and say, hey babe, can we go through this list? Hey babe, I think sometimes you're a little bit like Rambo. Hey babe, you're giving Mr. Sensitive right now. Can you do that? Are you afraid to tell? Are you afraid to give that feedback? If you're afraid, that's not a good sign. If you're in a relationship, can you as a couple read this together? If you're married, can you bring this to your partner and say, let's read this together? That's a healthy relationship to me. If you're afraid of this because, oh, as a anti-man, and oh girl, you are not in the right relationship. I don't want a man unless he knows, unless he's read this, unless he can identify his different types, unless he can been 2 years out of it, right? Can you have an honest conversation about what you look like to people, who you are, and who you actually are, not who you want to think you are? A lot of us are not who we think we are. I found out the hard way. Oh my god, I thought I was a really good person. I could be a nasty bitch. Oh my god, who is this girl? Oh, okay, okay. I didn't, right? We have to be honest. What are you doing to change? Do you want to change? Have you tried to change? What made you relapse? And again, can you present this information? If you've ever been in a toxic dynamic and you're in a healthy relationship now, how did you get there? Could we please share that information more? Could we please hear more from the healthy couples? Because a lot of us think it's not real. I saw it was Kev on stage was basically like he was this somebody on Twitter or something posted something about how healthy couples, married couples that are in healthy relationships gatekeep. Can you gatekeep less? Can you guys gatekeep that less? Like, can you please let us know that it's possible so we can believe that a different world is possible? So we can live in a world where we can know that we can marry people, men who are not going to just make us their doormats, right? If you are in a healthy relationship, how did you get there? What did that look like? If you're dating a healthy man, can you please brag about him? Can you show us what that looks like? In same-sex relationships as well too. Could we see some of the gay men bragging about their husbands that are good people? Because we need to see these positive male role models in general. Same with the lesbians. Please big up your relationship if it's healthy. Because all of the toxic stuff is so loud right now. So this is 40 minutes. I'm going to end it there. Just please, let's just turn the volume up on the healthy. Turn the volume down on the toxic. I'm sick of that shit. Me personally, I'm sick of it. Until next time, in solidarity.